It's amazing how America seems to only remember the tail end of the story, and pretty much where the story actually went wrong. Actually, where certain people like Rick Bush, a janitor, and other people who really knew nothing of anything suddenly started mucking around with everything. Um, Me being the communist leader and the leader in the beginning start of the system itself with inventions, invented communism, a system without money, because before you had any idea of a financial system, you had the idea of food, something that people understand now, and basically a better way of life. And me, Lucifer, the tree of knowledge, or just basically an inventor, pretty damn smart child, was leading the way as far as science and invention. All these documentaries, they all only tell the tail end of the story, which is basically America reaping the profits of everything that was being invented over the seas in Russia and Germany and Britain and everywhere else. America was the last country I ever named, basically. And I also named gold as well, of course. But I came up with the word America last. I also actually ended up coming up with the name of Communist California last as well. They were pretty close together, really. Although in the grand scheme of everything, people wanted to be called America and democracy better. I left it up to the people, but the name itself, and Russia actually my first system or communism, or communityism basically. I like the way the people have kind of forgotten what communism really means. It's community companies, kind of like the same thing that we do now with community people taking care of like a mine and stuff. They're miners; they know their job best, and other people don't really know their job, nor do they seem to care about their job. Although sometimes other people who don't care about a job seem to make sure that things are done right better. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Sometimes outside sources, which only have a steel mine, seem to need a little bit of help from everyone else, and that's one of the things that I always did bring to the table is other help. Whenever there was a group of people that had one thing but not another thing, I was the one who ordered everything else to be given to those people or done there. Case in point is the mine that ate men. When a group of people were trying to do something, I did order up, everything else. And so I did it in the Philippines, I did it everywhere. But it's funny how all these things, I don't know if they do it on purpose or what, but they're missing like 50 to 100 years of research, or people, that were under communist rule. It's my people basically, and other rule, to be going to work to research things, and they did a very good job. And it's funny, Rodney Briley and a lot of other people, I always got comments of, why, so what? You just have one speaker. But the first speakers and the first, what's it called? I think I even came up with the idea of a record, dips and valleys, and then maybe a needle and vibrate. I forget that time in my life, really. But there was a time when I was leading the charge of records, and maybe a physical thing could be formed into a electrical thing, and with my people. And I forget how I came about that. It was a lot of work. It wasn't easy. It's funny how people look back and they go, of course it works. It's like, well, it wasn't quite like that. It was a lot more of me scratching my head, other people scratching their head, going, how's this going to work? And then the slow but ever change into making it work. Me as head leader scientist, and them as my people underneath me, working very hard, diligently to come up with these better ways of doing things. And why I just kind of became all is because I was the leader, inventor of flight. So who else were they going to ask? There wasn't really anyone else. So, I invented flight. So that pretty much put me to the front. And engines and steam power. and everything else. Although steam power in the end was an easy invention. It was just like steam. I came up with the piston though. The front piston that goes in and out, that goes the lever action to a big wheel. That was easy. I was like a walk in the park compared to everything else. Democracy and the voting system and everything else was a nightmare compared to that. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how all these documentaries only basically talk about the last. That's why they call them the Roaring 20s, because all the work had been forged beforehand, and then America was getting into the spot where things were becoming easier. That's why they call them the Roaring 20s, because then it was just more a matter of I mean, me and my people had slaved through all the hard work, and now a lot of things were just easier. You know, they're starting to tick off like that, and then it was more just a matter of mitigating people's, I don't know, craziness, stupidity, whatever, greediness, whatever. And that was me and them, like, and then that was the creation of laws and everything else, and the very, very fine tail end of my hands-on approach to my people, and where, you know, I was beginning to be able to just relax and just let go of everything and finally live a normal life. You know, before that it was inventing and then maintaining, and then people wanted to remove me from control and everything else, and I had to like grab it and like yeah, because there was quite a few times when people just wanted to kind of like shove me off and forget about me and make it like I never existed. You know, have sucked away from my genius, or away from my sucked up, you know, all my hard work, all my people's hard work. They wanted to just come up with this bullshit fucking story and pretend like I never existed at all. You know, and that was really rude and really wrong and really just a bad idea. I mean, I don't think any race really liked what America was doing, or like what Rick Bush and the Jehovah's Witnesses were doing. Just trying to like come up with this little stupid story or whatever, you know, of the way life really was, when it really wasn't that way. You know, I had people in Germany, I had people in Russia, I had people in Japan, in China, I had Indian sculptors. You know, I mean, throughout time and space, I had people working very diligently, very loyally in lots of different societies, lots of different places, you know, for the betterment of humanity. And I was overseeing them, and they loved me a lot, because I was this great genius inventor. You know, and I came up against some ridiculous things that no child should have to go up against, and I did it. I still maintained. And now, certain people nowadays are like, blah blah blah, and it's rude, it's wrong, it is fucked up or messed up, disrespecting on an insanely large level, considering my personal gift to humanity and life, like, and just what they did. I mean, it's like, I mean, when you look back at time and space, you're going to see one inventor. I was a child. I just happened to be good at thinking of things. And certain groups wanted to just, you know, laugh at me and laugh at all those people who died. Like, haha, it sucks to be me and them. We sacrificed, we invented, and they're just going to make up this story. But I'm pretty sure time and space won't just let that go. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But it's a fact.